Hello, and thanks for watching this video, this conversation. My name is Sky, and I'm one of the co-hosts along with Peter of the Bringing It Home program. And we wanted to give you a little bit more of a personal flavor by adding some further reflections onto what Ashley has shared. So Marielke is going to be sharing some of her stories of the particular direction. Marielke did the program last cycle, so 2021 to 2022. And she's apprenticing and helping out right now as part of the leadership team for this cycle. So welcome, Marielke, and thanks so much for being willing to share some of your personal stories in this, more public way. So do you want to say any words before I
No, I'm excited to be here and to share. It's been an amazing journey that's ongoing, and I love to talk about it and share. So it's great to have this opportunity to go a little bit deeper.
Thank you. So before we came on here and started recording, we started our conversation with gratitude, as we always do. And so I wanted to just bring that in a small way, because this is a fairly short recording, and just share a snippet of what we shared about. And so for me, I talked about gratitude for a feeling or a sense of the feeling of the birds being closer the last few days. And the example from this morning was I went outside in the field and there was a robin like very close to me that I didn't notice until I was very close. And then I managed to walk past a blackbird 2 or 3 meters away. And anyone who's aware of scaring away blackbirds, they can be quite skittish. So I felt, a real sense of closeness with this blackbird that I managed to walk by without it flying away. And Marielke, would you like to share a bit?
Yeah. So for me, my main gratitude that I shared was around just feeling grateful for the connection that I have with my body, and being able to just have that awareness, that understanding, being able to listen and hear the messages of my body and what I need in any moment. And this morning it was really to get outside first thing, even though it's cold. I just got wrapped up and to go for a nice walk to get my heart kind of pumping a little bit. And it really feels like it helped to just to support and regulate my nervous system, and to begin my day in the best way possible. So I'm grateful for that.
Lovely. I actually just realized that we're having this conversation right around the kind of southeasty or coming out of the southeasty time of day, and your gratitude is already there, what we're here to talk about. Ashley has written really focusing on kind of what's the core energy of the southeast. And so because Marielke has gone through the full cycle and is still with us, so is still very much working with the awarenesses of this map in her life. The hope is that she can give a bit of a flavor of, a little further along on that journey with this map. So I would just love to hear, like, when you went through the Southeast weekend in Bringing It Home, what did it bring alive for you? And what's that journey? What was that journey, and what's it like now for you?
And the southeast was one of those weekends that really kind of stood out for me, because there was like that moment of real kind of I don't know, having a real insight around it. And I think with all of the weekends, it was a sense of it just brought such a deeper meaning to the journey that I'd already been on. But in the Southeast weekend, it was this link between play and vitality. And I remember we did during the weekend, we did some silly little activities together in pairs, and there was sort of increasing in silliness, if you like, playful complexity, as I like to call it. And they were really good fun, and I really enjoyed the activities. And then I think we got to one that was about telling a story in the voice of an animal. And it was like I hit an edge of my capacity for kind of silliness, and I could feel like, you know, the not quite panic, but like, oh no, this is going to be uncomfortable. And I expressed a little bit of that with my partner, but he went first, and the laughter, it was just so hilarious. It was such a beautiful experience, and I just felt so much energy going through my body. I remember having to take my cardigan off because I was so warm. Like, there was such a sense of vitality within my body. And I think it was just in that moment that I kind of made this link between play and vitality. And actually, if I could cultivate more play within my life, then perhaps I'd experience more of the vitality that I really longed for. You know, I've had for many years a sense of not being in my full kind of vitality. And yeah, that for me was a really beautiful moment, just that link between cultivating more play and I'll experience more vitality. It sounds easy and simple, but well, it's simple, but I realized it was not quite so easy as just cultivating more play, because yeah, there's often there has been for me anyway, kind of a lot of blocks around play, which I think Ashley made a reference to within her, you know, her beautiful summary of her experience as well. But so often I think we can, as adults, we forget how to play, feel like it's just for children to play, but actually it's something that yeah, can really give us a sense of vitality and aliveness.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm just hearing you touch on this kind of the repair and healing aspect that's there, of in every direction, because this map has come into being as a response to seeing the disconnection in the world, disconnection to self, to other fellow human beings and our greater natural world, our home. So as we move around the map, there's these points of healing, these opportunities that are there. And so, yeah, just hearing you speak now to the removing the blocks that can be there to our vitality. And so, yeah, can you share a bit about how that realization impacted your journey in your life?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think sort of even before I joined kind of bringing it home, if you like, I'd back in 2018, I think it was, I'd had an experience in nature that really helped to connect me back to that childlike sense of wonder that I had, you know, that we all have as children. And so in a way I'd been kind of nurturing that, but there was always a sense of I don't know, I guess not quite kind of guilt, because I knew that it really benefited me to take that time out to be in nature. But there would sometimes still be that sense of, you know, I need to get all my work done first, and then I can go and have that play, that time to kind of wonder with nature. And I guess I just feel since the Bringing It Home program and really understanding, I guess, the healing, you know, aspect of that I've been able to really prioritize that much more, you know. So in my day, you know, I really make sure, you know, yeah, each day, like I begin my day with, okay, you know, how am I feeling? What is my body needing right now? What do I need to increase that sense of vitality so that I can then move through my day, get done what I need to get done, in a way that really, will perhaps have a bit more kind of flow and ease to it. And I really create that space for myself just to go and play. And I love to just play amongst the trees on my own. I love to go somewhere new. My little one within, you know, it's that 8-9-year-old child loves to just go and explore and go off the main track and scramble up hills and under undergrowth. And the sense of vitality that I have from that and then what that vitality gives me, it's like I feel like I can take on the world, you know, like the creativity flows, the confidence, it's like everything just flows. And so I, you know, and I share this now in my work in a way, is that actually, you know, we can feel that that's indulgent to maybe take, you know, an hour, a couple of hours, a few hours to just go and be out in nature, or whatever it is that really helps to bring us alive. But for me, I see that as you know, it's a way of being, if you like. It's a way of living, a way of being that I know kind of supports me. But it also, yeah, it's a way of doing my work, if you like, as well, if I can bring a bit more of that in. And also I think just in sharing that, it I don't know, it just really, I feel that there's a ripple effect as well, you know, in my relationships, I guess. And yeah, if I can really focus on bringing that sense of vitality and yeah, playfulness in, it then ripples out as well. And I love to share that with other people and invite other people to kind of step into that sort of wonder and yeah, play as well.
And you just mentioned that it's helpful in your work as well. Can you say a bit about what that work is and how
yeah so I'm a psychologist and I call, I say, a nature inspired coach, but a kind of therapist as well. And I love to a lot of my work now is actually more focused on creating spaces and opportunities for space holders and practitioners who are perhaps, you know, really giving a lot, making a difference in the world, but it's how can they do that from a place of also thriving themselves. And I really feel that this energy of the Southeast actually is something that if we can kind of cultivate more of that, that can really support us in our thriving. And so it's helping people to and this has really been my journey, I guess, is about from having been very disconnected and just working kind of non-stop and reaching kind of a point of very severe burnout, and then going on this journey of reconnection and learning to live life in a much slower pace, but actually being in much deeper connection with myself, with nature, and yeah, really remembering my true nature. And so I creating these opportunities to help people to really drop into their body, to awaken the senses, including that sense of wonder, and to, you know, come into relationship with nature, to open up to the guidance, the wisdom that is there, the support that is there, and to come into recognizing that it's a two-way relationship, that we are part of nature. You know, we're not separate from it. It's that kind of remembering that we are part of nature. And I guess the other part of that as well, because often that it can bring up a lot of grief. I know from my own experience, when I really, I guess, remembered that deep connection with nature, when I came back into connection with myself, there was also a lot of grief that was there around what I had lost, what I'd experienced, what had led me to the point of becoming so disconnected from myself, of not being in right relationship, I guess, with myself or with nature. So there was a lot of grief that was there. But also, interestingly, it was grief that led me back to wonder. So it was actually a loss, a real tragic loss that I experienced back in 2017 that led me on a really much deeper healing journey. You know, we talk about you know, in the Northwest, there's those shadow, you know, the parts that we've pushed into the shadows. And I think it was during that year 2018 where I really went to the depths of my being, if you like. But that culminated in this, you know, really, I guess, deep connection with myself, but this amazing experience that I had that opened me up to a sense of beauty and wonder and deep connection with nature that has been an ever evolving and deepening journey. And so it's grief that led me to wonder, and then through the wonder it led me to the grief, and then you'd kind of, flow between the two of those until I guess I find myself now where there is this sense of I can flow between those with greater ease now. I've had moments where I've been on walks and I've been feeling some grief around something that's perhaps going on in my life, or and then I'll, perhaps a little bird will come and say hello to me, and then I'm in that sort of place of joy and wonder, and then maybe I'll connect back in with how I'm feeling, and I'll be in that grief. And it's like a child. We see children and how they can flow from one emotion to the next. It's only as we get older that we start to learn maybe that there are certain things that we shouldn't feel, or we put in certain blocks that don't allow things to flow. So for me, I think that has been, I'm so grateful for that gift. And I really do feel like the Bringing It Home program, and I can feel a bit of emotion there, because I'm so grateful for this program for bringing a deeper sense of meaning to the journey that I'd been on, like providing a bit of a framework. And in these maps, I remember like seeing the map, and particularly that link between the southeast and the northwest and that healing axis. It's like suddenly everything kind of slotted into, it's like things sort of clicked into place, and just made so much more sense to me. And I feel that that's then helped me to really deepen into that, to really embody that even more, and to have that as a way of life, I guess, a way of being. And I know the healing within myself, but also I kind of feel and can see, again, I talked about before those ripple effects. And I think this is why I'm so passionate now about wanting to bring this to, my local community. A lot of what I share as well, in my social media is around like this sense of wonder, and also the grief and these themes, because I think those are often in our culture that, particularly with grief, we don't want to go there, but also that sense of wonder that we've lost connection with as adults. And actually there's so much healing that can happen if we allow ourselves to just really be present to that, and to reawaken that within ourselves. And the grief can come with that, but that in itself, there's a beauty and a wonder to really just fully experience. And I think that's it. It's just that sense of feeling fully alive, that aliveness kind of within me, and that just feels incredible. That, even through difficult, challenging times, it's like I can feel that sense of aliveness, that sense of joy and wonder is available to me in every moment. And wow. I couldn't even begin to imagine that that's how I would experience kind of life, having spent decades running away from myself and burying myself in work and all the things that I had been led to believe was important, keeping busy, producing, achieving, proving, perfecting, all of those things. And it's like, actually I can let all of that fall away and know that, just, I'm enough. It's enough just to, my very existence is enough. And it's that feels good, really, just to be in that ever evolving, deepening connection with myself, with nature as my guide, and and the deepening connections that can bring with others, I think, as well.
Well, thanks, Marielke. I really feel like deeper parts of myself being touched by your story as you were kind of like peeling back the layers of your journey, and really hearing the power, the seed of power in your story. And yeah, and just lovely how, yeah, just when you spoke what the gift of the Bringing It Home program is, you really spoke to, for me, what the gift of maps are. You know, they're not the landscape, but they just help us orient. Like we are doing all of that in ourselves anyway. And then the gift of a map is like how it helps us orient to where we are, and then helps us with that journey as a guide, really, like a map is. We most Probably most people are most familiar with a physical map, you know, and how that guides us on a landscape. And you just spoke so beautifully there to how, like, some of the dynamic relationships with the other directions, like in your work, with people who are holding a lot. So in this H Shields map, in the south is peak growth. You know, the south is that summer solstice, like the sun is strongest in the south. In that midsummer time where growth is at its highest. And our society is very much focused on that energy, like production, creation, achievement. And you spoke about it there in your own journey as well, like spending decades in that place, that exaggerated south of like work, 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 and holding so much in the world. And then when we find ourselves exaggerated in a direction, it's like we do a bit of backtracking. And so we're in the southeast, and like, how haven't I, or how am I not taking care of my vitality actually? And what is it that brings that vitality? You spoke a lot to like that being in your body and how nature brings us back into our body. And then you also popped over to the northwest. There's this really special dynamic relationship on the axes that connect opposite directions. So in this case, it being the healing axis. So removing blocks, sometimes there's some really deep blocks, you know, where you were just bringing in grief there, and those things we meet inside ourselves when we come back into connection as well. There's a reason why we've disconnected, right? It's like there's so much to feel and heal and repair in our culture, and then within our own inner culture that is a part of that greater. Yeah, and you spoke to that beautiful, the sacred attributes. So this whole H Shields map is dedicated towards bringing out the sacred attributes of connections in human beings. So the one in the southeast we've spoken to, and you've mentioned it several times, vitality. So that's it. But it's a very physical, fully aliveness in the body. And then we have this fully alive in the northwest, which you spoke to lovely, like with this bouncing back, being able to hold the grievances and the wonders of life in equal measure, and enjoying and holding that in yourself as, yeah, being in full connection with life. So yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. And yeah, I wonder, yeah, if you were to share in one sentence now, just as a way to close, yeah, one sentence of what the southeast is for you. Yeah.
For me, it is this just childlike sense of wonder. You know, for me, it's that childlike sense of wonder that brings kind of vitality. It's about being in the body, you know, the senses alive, that sense of wonder, and just fully kind of experiencing life and yeah, the world around you, and the vitality that comes from that. It's, yeah, playfulness that comes from being in that sense of wonder. Because for me, that sense of wonder is about, you know, it's that curiosity, that openness, that sense of newness, like experiencing everything for like the first time. And there's a real playfulness for me around that, and then the vitality that comes from it. So yeah, quite a long sentence there.
Do you want to say it there in one sentence,
Yeah.
so we really understand you?
So yeah, the southeast for me is about play and vitality and childlike wonder.
Thank you, Marielke. So thank you everyone for who has watched or listened to this. And want to just invite you to take a moment after this to reflect on, yeah, what small thing can I do right now for myself to feel this sense of, yeah, vitality in the body. Yeah, and we look forward to hopefully meeting you again in one of the other directions. Bye for now.
Bye for now.